everyone, Bailey here, and welcome to this week's coffee time. So I'm settled down in my new apartment. I've had class for almost 2 weeks now. It'll be 2 weeks by the time you see this, so I am like on a schedule again, which is great because it means I have time to make 2 videos a week and upload them. So I'm very excited that coffee time is back. So if you watched my Monday video, you should recognize this is my apartment. We're in my bedroom. These are my closet things and my desk, but there's no chair for the desk. There are like chairs at my table here. I have like a little dining room table, and I have a balcony, and that's my room. And there's nothing really else to show you in my apartment. There's no kitchen. I have the bathroom down the hall, and then there's 2 other rooms that other people have, but there's a communal kitchen because I live in East Berlin, and this is like DDR era housing. It must have been built in the 60s or 70s. Like, it's got that look to it. They built a bunch of like affordable or free housing. Actually, it was free, but there was like a 2-year waiting list to get into one of these buildings back in the day, and so only some of the apartments have kitchens, because I guess it was easier to not give all of them kitchens, and it's probably something to do with like socialism, community, and stuff like that. But so I don't have a kitchen, and it's really not a good kitchen. It's like it's like about the length of a bed, and it's got a stove and like a fridge that's like slightly bigger than a college mini fridge would be, and it's like so anyway, I'm not missing that much, and I'm certainly actually glad now that I'm not in the one with the that I'm not living in an apartment with a kitchen, because like that means other people are coming and going and not cleaning up after themselves in the communal kitchen, which is just not what you want. So before I get started, and I don't even really have a topic prepared, so I'm just gonna be, I don't know what, for like 15 minutes, but anyway, 2 things. The first is like a technical announcement. So I no longer have access to a computer because I didn't bring a laptop with me for my year abroad, and I was using Smith's computers in Reed Hall, but I no longer have access to Reed Hall, and I thought there would be computers at my school, but there's not. So from here on until the end of August, all my videos will be filmed and edited solely on my iPhone. So you're gonna have to bear with that. And second announcement, which was really big, like an even bigger deal for me, basically, was yesterday when I went shopping, or no, it was, this week when I went shopping, I found peanut butter at the store. Look, it's got an American flag on it and everything, and it's got this really grainy looking picture. I don't know why it's so grainy. It's like they blew it up in MS Paint or something. But it says, product of the United States. And it's real peanut butter, and it's 350 grams, and I've eaten almost all of it in like 3 days. I had my first peanut butter and jelly sandwich in like at least a year. It was a big deal. I didn't do anything else all day after that. I just like ate a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. But what I've found most interesting about this, besides the fact that it's like real, like actual United States type peanut butter, like it tastes right and everything, is that I've never heard of this brand before, Barney's Best, and they say it was made in the US, which means and also the size, it's 350 grams. It was only $2.99, but like you can't get this size peanut butter in the US. Which means that there's a peanut butter company that solely sends peanut butter to Europe, which seems odd because no one uses peanut butter in Europe, which is why I can't find it. But that was big news. Yeah, that was the announcement I wanted to make. Today, we're going to be talking about Berlin, obviously, because this is the first coffee time in Berlin, so what else would we talk about? But also for another reason. 2 years ago on June 3rd, which was yesterday, or like 2 days ago when you're watching this, I guess, it was this week, I arrived in Berlin for the first time, and that was my first ever trip abroad by myself, and I was coming to Germany to learn German, and I did not know a single word of German besides hello, please, and thank you. And like that whole trip to me was like really monumental, I guess. Like it definitely changed the course of my college career. So I'm gonna be like reminiscing about 2 years ago Berlin, and then like I'm here back again. So oh my gosh, my first and last summer of Smith have been spent in Berlin. So it's an important city for me. So let's get started with that. So as I said, the kitchen in the other apartment is not good. There's nothing to make coffee with. So I went out to the store and I bought this. And we're gonna see how that is. And for my snack today, I went to the Asian supermarket yesterday because I was craving mochi for no particular reason. I've been watching a lot of like Japanese YouTubers, I guess. So this one's taro. Yeah, so here it is. Yum. And so that's what I'm gonna be having. I hope you've got your snacks ready, so let's get started. It's downright acceptable. And the other reason I have this refrigerated coffee thing is because there are no cafes or anything in walking distance. Like the nearest, I take the tram to get to the supermarket. Because the nearest one in walking distance is like the type of supermarket that's like attached to a gas station, and it's a kilometer away, so like not happening. Okay, I guess to start with how important the Berlin trip, the last one, was for me, I should start with how I got there. So I got a special scholarship from Smith, which is the Stride Scholarship, which stands for Student Research in Departments, if you force it a little bit, which basically means that for the first 2 years you get to do an internship with a professor, and almost all of these programs, at least when I was choosing them, were science programs, which like I was going to be a bio minor or major at that point, so like that was okay, but I wasn't really a lab type person, or like the type of science that I wanted to do. They weren't really doing the labs for that, and so like I was just looking through all the like non-lab ones, and I believe there were 4, and one of them was Global Stride, which is it's special in that it's like there's like a group of 5 to 6 around that number every year. You don't do like an internship so much as like the other Stride students do. You more like, it's kind of like a light class. So the first year you meet with your advisor and the other students every week, and you read things about studying abroad. And what you're working towards is using the stipend that they give you to go abroad this summer after your first year to study a language intensively. And so I put this one down as my first choice, and I got it. So then I knew I had the opportunity to study abroad, and I could have gone wherever I wanted to. It's like you just have to find the program and get in, and then they will help you with it, and it was really great. And so then I basically had to pick a language, and I didn't want to do French. I had decided to stop French already by that point. I was going to do 1 more year to finish it out and then not take it anymore. And so this was going to be my time to start a new language. And that meant I had literally all the options that Smith offers available to me. And so I had always had like a list of languages that I wanted to learn. And at one point, it had like 8 languages on it. And I was like, okay, so I'll just check the next one off my list. And then when I come back, I'll do a different one. And then my senior year, I'll do another one. And like, I would have learned like 5 languages by this point, basically, like something crazy like that. But I would only have taken like a year's worth, and like as it was pointed out to me by my advisor, I wouldn't like be a master of any of the languages. I'd be like able to like introduce myself and stuff like that, but I wouldn't be able to actually like have a deep conversation or anything, or like live in a country that spoke these languages. And by this point, I was kind of thinking German, because I decided that I wanted to learn German as one of the languages on my gigantic and ever-expanding list. Because I've talked about this before, but I had found a PhD program that I liked, and I was like, sure, it's in Leipzig, I'll learn German. And around this time, I was like hearing about Berlin, because it was like, this was 2 years ago, I guess, so it was like there were like puff pieces about it everywhere, like, oh, Berlin is so cool, it's the, they kept using, like, everywhere, like the New York Times, like Lonely Planet, like everyone kept using, like, it's the New York of the 80s, it's the Paris of the 20s, it's Berlin now. And so that seemed really cool to me as like the first place I would like live independently. That was very appealing to an 18-year-old as it would be. And so I decided, and so then combined with my advisor's advice of like pick one language and focus on it so you can actually speak it, I decided to go to Berlin, and I found the Goethe Institute, and I was gonna take 1 month German, and so I did. And that's the beginning of that story. And so I arrived in Berlin, and I was doing a homestay with the Goethe Institute. It was in a very nice apartment, like around the corner from the city hall where JFK gave his speech in '63. And I was actually there for the 50th anniversary of it. Like I went over to the city hall the day of, and it was like my last week in Berlin, and I like took selfies from where JFK was, and they were setting up to like have a 50th anniversary celebration, because like it was a big deal here. Like it was a big deal in the US, but it was like it was a huge deal here. Anyway, that wasn't important. This was my first time flying by myself, my first time being in a foreign country by myself, my first time like learning a language that wasn't French. And so I was there for a month, and I was here for a month. So I was here for a month, and I learned a lot of German. I learned a semester's worth of German, and I met a lot of great people, because it's the Goethe Institute, so everyone's like foreigner, and they've come to Berlin to learn German. And that was a great environment for me, because it was really diverse, and like there were people from all over the world and all ages and stuff. And I was one of the youngest people. I was 18 at the time, and there was only like one person who was younger than me, and he was on like a gap year. And so I made a lot of friends who were like slightly older than me and from like all over the world. And I had just started German 4 weeks ago, and like they had just started German like 4 weeks ago, and so for the most part anyway. And so we spoke in English. Which was super easy for me, and it was really easy for the rest of them too, except it was like for me, English was my first language, but for like some of my best friends were from France and Brazil and from Portugal, and so like they were all speaking a foreign language, and they were speaking it incredibly well, and I felt like so bad that I was always just getting by with my first language, that I never had to like work for, like I never had to work to be understood, and that I couldn't, like, cause my French at that point, like one of my friends was French, but I couldn't really talk with her that much because my French wasn't that great, and I felt like all my language skills were crap, and I hadn't got, like, I wanted to be much better than I was in both German and French. And that feeling only got like stronger as time went on, because I was like seeing all these people, and like even my host mother, she was Finnish, and she moved to like Munich in the 60s, and she was an artist, and she's an artist now, and so she speaks Finnish and German, of course, and she speaks Italian because her son married an Italian woman, and so, but we always spoke in English, and like three other languages at least. There might have been more. So I felt like I was kind of useless, and I didn't want to be useless. And so up until this point, the general idea had been, okay, so I'll do this semester's worth of German in Berlin, and then I'll come back and I'll take German, and then I'll do 1 semester in German my junior year and be able to travel abroad and study German in Germany again my junior year. But so as I was realizing like my languages were not that good, and I wanted my languages to be better, I realized that the best way to get one of my languages up to this level of stuff would be to focus on French, which was already had that edge over German, and so that's what I did. went back and I took French, and then I did Paris, and actually one of my classmates is from Tunisia, and besides Arabic, one of his first languages is French, and so now I can speak French with him. And so I definitely was not able to do that like even a year ago. I certainly was not able to do that like 2 years ago when I was here. So I definitely feel already that like I made the right decision. But I've always felt that I've made the right decision with, I felt since then that I made the right decision with French, but like now it's been proven, like, I guess, because I'm in the same place and I'm in the same situation, but now I do have that other language, and so now I just have to get my German back up to par, because it's basically it's gotten worse. It's definitely gotten worse. So I'm in a class right now that's covering stuff I covered back at Smith, but because I haven't studied it in a year, I need the review, so that's where we are. So last time in Berlin was definitely a turning point for my life. And I took the fork that led to Paris, and I wouldn't be back here if I had taken the fork that led to Hamburg. I would be in Hamburg, but my German would be better than it is now, but I don't think it would be where my French is currently. And my French would certainly not be where it is now. So I felt like a sense of like a returning conqueror, sort of, to be back here for these 2 weeks. Like, Berlin gave me this idea in the first place, and then I executed that idea brilliantly, and now I'm back, and it's great. And I'm here for, what, like 12 more weeks, and so I know my German's gonna get better. I don't know if it's gonna be up to the 350 level course that I've signed up for back at Smith, but I can always change that, and I'm most certain I probably am gonna change that, but we'll see. And then for that all to have happened in my first summer at Smith, and now I'm back here for my last summer, it's a good sense of like closure, even though this is not gonna be like the last time I'm in Berlin, I promise. I love Berlin. It's like being here has reminded me like how much I love the energy of the city. Like, it's a really special city, and I'm excited to show you more of it in my coming videos. I really love it here, and so this is not gonna be the last. I'm like talking, this is not gonna be the last, but like I am only here for 12 weeks, which I now realize is not that much time. So it's given me that sense of symmetry and closure that I like to have in my life, because I'm a big one for parallels and stuff like that. And being back, like, another thing is, like, that was a major change that happened in only 4 weeks when I was here last time. So I'm here for 3 times that amount now, and I'm interested to see if I come up with any way else to shake up my life entirely. I guess that's my Berlin story. It's really great to be back. On June 3rd, 2013, I got off the plane in Berlin, and that was I got off the plane in Berlin with just 1 backpack and not a single word of German, and I made it to the Goethe Institute with a taxi cab, and then I found my way to my homestay, and it was a big day. And now June 3rd, 2020, oh my god. And now June 3rd, 2015, I feel like I've grown up so much in these 2 years. I feel like I'm put together and I can navigate foreign cities with ease. I have been to how many cities have I been to by myself since then? Since then, I have traveled to Paris and Rome and Athens and Copenhagen and Stockholm and Oslo by myself. By myself or just with friends, and oh gosh, I'm so much more like experienced in the world, and I feel so much more mature and grown up. Like, I feel like the person who landed here 2 years ago was a baby, and I feel all grown up, and it's awesome. It was just 2 years ago, but it feels like the person, like, it feels like such a different person was here last time, and I can't exactly say how I'm different now, but I feel like so much more grown up. I feel like such a different person than that kid who was here. And I'm really excited to see what this summer's gonna bring, and you're gonna see it too. So that's what I have for you this week. Oh my gosh, I don't even know if this had there was sort of a thread in there, but wow, I've been planning to make this video since I knew I was coming to Berlin, basically. and that was a hot mess. And look at the sun. I'm just so white. The camera's having a hard time focusing on my whiteness. But anyway, stay tuned for more updates from Berlin. I hope you have an excellent weekend wherever you are, and I will see you guys on Monday. But if you miss me in the meantime, don't forget that you can find me across the internet at the links below. See you soon. Bye.